Mario Kart Wii, only the best video game of all time. But have you ever so wondered, can you get first place with every vehicle online? Probably not. That's crazy. But why is that crazy? Can it ever happen? You'll have to wait and see. One issue many people have with this game is the unbalanced vehicles. I can understand why people have an issue with this. There are really only 3 vehicles you can play as online without people thinking, that's an interesting choice. These vehicles include the Flame Runner, the Mach Bike, and the Bullet Bike. What makes it so that only 3 out of 36 vehicles in this game are viable? Well, you're about to see. In case you didn't know, there are 3 types of vehicles in this game: karts, inside drifting bikes, and outside drifting bikes. Let's start off with the karts. The most noticeable difference is the fact that it has 4 wheels, opposed to bikes which have 2. This makes it so they tend to weigh a bit more, which can be useful. The main difference, however, is not the extra wheels, but the fact that while drifting, you can get an orange mini-turbo. In case you aren't aware, mini-turbos are obtained when a spark appears from drifting. When you release the drift, you will get a boost. Bikes can only get a blue mini-turbo, but if you are using a kart, the spark will eventually turn orange, which will give you an even bigger boost. Karts are held back by one thing, however: outside drift. You will see what I'm talking about in a sec. Let's talk about bikes before we go more in depth about inside and outside drift. Since bikes only have 2 wheels, they have a smaller hitbox, which is better since you are less likely to run into items and can fit in smaller places easier. Bikes also have the ability to wheelie. These can take place whenever the player is not drifting. This isn't just for style points though, it actually gives you a pretty good speed increase. It is nothing major, but it is important to do on straightaways since a vehicle wheeling will most likely pass a vehicle that is not. However, you have to be careful to not get bumped by other racers while doing so, because you will lose a good amount of speed, more than you would if not wheeling. The one major thing that differentiates bikes is whether or not they have inside drift or outside drift. I will first show you footage of a vehicle with inside drift, the Mach Bike. As you can see, you go inside at the start of your drift, which causes you to be able to make your turns very sharp. Now here's an outside drifting bike, the standard bike. As you might be able to tell, the rear end of the vehicle goes outside in the opposite direction you are drifting, which can be a big nuisance. Because of this, you have to begin drifting much earlier than you would with inside drift, otherwise you will hit the outer wall. Since you have to drift earlier, you spend less time in a wheelie and are more vulnerable to get hit by items, and some courses are just a pain to complete. You can take turns much quicker and cleaner with inside drift, along with the fact that there are many other drifting techniques you can do with it, but that is beyond the point. It is okay if you don't fully understand the drifting yet. I recommend watching back the footage and you should be able to tell the difference. Now that you know the 3 types of vehicles, you probably want to know how many are in each category. There are 18 karts, 9 inside drifting bikes, and 9 outside drifting bikes. Inside drifting bikes are the dominant vehicle, with karts arguably being better than outside drifting bikes, though neither can compete. However, there are still more to each vehicle: stats. There are 7 vehicle stats in this game: speed, weight, acceleration, handling, drift, off-road, and mini-turbo. Of the 7 stats just mentioned, the 3 most important stats are speed, weight, and drift. Speed is obviously important in any racing game. You gotta go fast if you want to win. Weight is one you may not expect to be that important. However, it does allow you to bump other players much farther, and you get less airtime off ramps, which is definitely important since you go faster on the ground in this game. Using a lightweight vehicle can be a nightmare sometimes, since you can easily get bumped off the course and will stay in the air forever. Drift is the final important stat, and is arguably the second most important behind speed. The higher the drift stat, the tighter you will be able to make turns. Vehicles with low drift stats can really struggle, even if they have inside drift. The next tier of stats include acceleration and mini-turbo. Both of these stats are good to have, but aren't necessary. Acceleration is how fast you gain speed. It is not uncommon to lose all of your speed in this game, whether it is hitting an item, bonking off a wall, or falling off the course. The better the acceleration, the less time it takes to get back to your full speed. However, vehicles with bad acceleration can still get standstill mini turbos, which is where you can get a boost without drifting, which will bring you back to full speed in no time. It is better if you have good acceleration, but standstill mini turbos make up for it for the most part. The next stat is the mini turbo. This affects how much of a boost you will get while drifting. It doesn't make or break a race, but it's still better to get a bigger boost. The final two stats in this game rarely matter and tend to be useless. This includes the handling and off-road stats. Handling is how well you can turn when you are not drifting, but it doesn't really matter since you will be drifting whenever making a turn. It also does seem to benefit the drift stat, but if a vehicle already has good drift, it doesn't need good handling. Off-road is the final stat in this game, which may seem really good at first. The better the off-road stat, the less speed the vehicle will lose while going off-road. Off-road is parts of the track that aren't meant to be driven on, and you will slow down if driving on it, like grass for example, unless using a speed item. The off-road stat is good for courses with a lot of light off-road, like N64 Sherbetland or GBA Shy Guy Beach. However, those are really the only courses it matters on, 2 out of 32. If the stat is really good, you can drift in hard off-road too, but this is only useful in a few cases. The unbalanced vehicle types and stats are what makes it so only 3 out of the 36 vehicles in this game are considered viable. I can understand why many people get turned off by this, but I personally find it to make the game more funny and unique, which is why I will be attempting to get first place with all of the vehicles online. You may be confused with that statement. Didn't Nintendo shut down the online servers for Mario Kart Wii in whatever year they shut down the online servers? I don't actually remember. Yes, Nintendo did, but modders have brought back the online servers for the game. This comes in the form of CTGP, a free modification you can download. The mod includes online back how it worked before, along with over 200 custom tracks, some being new and others previous tracks from other Mario Kart games, and finally other cool mods like 200cc, item rain, and more. There aren't many rules for this challenge, but I'll list them anyways. This will all be done on normal worldwide races, and there must be a 5-player room minimum. I obviously won't be hacking, because, hacking's bad. And, well, that's it for the rules, really. I'm not fully sure on how often I will upload these challenges, but I'd say for now at least once a week, depending on how much time I have and how much I want to edit them. Other than that, there really isn't much to say. I probably should have said this at the start of the video, but my name is MatsuBallSoup18, and this is the first video I've ever made on YouTube. If you enjoyed, let me know by liking this video, and if you really liked it, subscribe, but you probably won't subscribe because this is my first video, and most people don't subscribe because of one video, but it would be cool if you could. But make sure to stick around, because I do look forward to making more of these videos, and thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day.